This is the Reality Self-Help Podcast. Summer House Recap Edition, because I'm on a mission. Hello and welcome to the Reality TV Self-Help Podcast Summer House Recap Edition. Today is essentially D-Day because if you know, you know. What just dropped today is that West and Amanda put out statements, which are the exact same statement, confirming that they are in a newly blossoming relationship. CIARA, West's ex, one of Amanda's supposed besties, no mention of CIARA, even vaguely referencing her. Let's just go over this statement, and I will, just like I remember when I found out about Scandival, I was working at the library, I was at the desk, and on TMZ, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. That's the same feeling today. I was at work, but on a prep, and so I was trying to find on Reddit, has it been confirmed, looking for any of the clues, then found out someone commented the statement, and I could not believe it. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy and wild and unbelievable, because a week ago, I did not think this was possible. Positive way of looking at it is you never know what's going to happen in life, for better or worse. So when I'm thinking negatively of this is what's going to happen, you don't know what's going to happen, because I, again, had no clue that Amanda, Wes totally thinks he's capable of this. This does not shock me. Amanda, I did not think she was like this. And it's just the degree to which it's so cruel, because they better be soulmates, because to hurt CIARA this badly, it's like West already betrayed her. He is trying to get her back on Summer House this season, it appears. But Amanda, you were supposed to be one of Sarah's best friends, and she always presents herself as such a girl's girl, so loyal. And CIARA has been such a good friend to her. And in my opinion, I don't think CIARA would ever do something like this. How could it be worth it to do this? Going back to this whole debacle, as I like to call it, let me read their statement, because what I found so interesting about it is that guess who doesn't get mentioned? We've seen the growing online speculation. So while this is still very new, we wanted to provide some clarity. It was never our intention to purposely hide anything. I cannot stand this. So why I can't stand how many people who say, it was never our intention, I didn't intend to do this, it wasn't intentional. So then what that actually says is it's the fact that you're not compassionate, you're using as an excuse. Put yourself in Sierra's position. Put yourself in Kyle's position. Imagine the other positions of people. That requires intentionality, but I hate how people say it wasn't intentional. Yeah, that's because you're not a compassionate person. Given the complicated relationship dynamics involved, do say more, and the scrutiny that comes with being on a reality show, that'll give them credit for. We needed a little space to process things privately before speaking on it, aka we had to figure out what the fuck we were gonna do before public comes for us and supports CIARA for good reason. We've shown up for each other as friends over the years. Well, he only showed up on the show in 2023. I think he knew Kyle a bit before then, but it's not that this is some long friendship. Through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently was the last thing either of us expected. Yeah, because CIARA is ex's West and one of Amanda's best friends. So you'd hope that's the last thing that either of you expected, especially because I believe it was February 3rd when Amanda was on Watch What Happens Live with CIARA, and she was saying she would never date one of her co-stars. You'd hope that. So it was not what it was expected. Our connection, this I really can't stand. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. How about CIARA being the main reason that you approach this with care? Your friendship is as flimsy as a floppy ass pancake, okay? This is ridiculous. So show some actual care to the person who's going to be hurt the most by this, which is CIARA. But hopefully that just wakes her up. If there were any lingering feelings left towards West, her ex, hopefully those have dissipated or will just be gone so fast to see, wow, you've done me dirty again. And Amanda, who I actually thought was a loyal female friend, has done me even dirtier. And I don't mean it in the way of, I think men should be totally held equally responsible for what they do that's inappropriate and wrong. But West isn't CIARA's boyfriend anymore. Amanda was claiming to be one of her best friends currently, and that's what's so messed up. As our feelings evolved, we wanted to take time to understand exactly what we were feeling. We also recognized that this has had an impact beyond just us. Say more? CIARA? Can you mention CIARA? Kyle? and never wanted our actions to cause any hurt or be perceived as careless. We don't want you to think of it, perceive it as careless, but it is careless. And explain what is that impact beyond us is the elephant in the room. CIARA, why don't you mention CIARA, or at least, I wouldn't want my name involved in it, but at least let's acknowledge who we're talking about here and what is the real deal. We truly appreciate the understanding and respect as we navigate this. Well, we're not going to give you understanding and respect. Clearly, Amanda is going through a lot as she's going through this breakup with Kyle. She's been in this codependent relationship for 10 years, and clearly they're both not seeing straight. But yes, I do think also because they're on reality TV, this is Amanda's livelihood. This is West's livelihood. I think it's such a poor choice because Amanda did have so many female fans, myself included, behind her. And now she's just thrown that all away. I'm not saying there could be a circumstance where two females could stay friends if one ends up dating another person's ex. But this is not the situation. This is not it. When it's one of your best friends and you know how heartbroken they were by the person, that's just what's so hard to understand. Let's get on to the actual episode itself. So West, even though he's usually the biggest bitch when it comes to speaking up directly, for example, when Jesse was asking if he could make out with CIARA, West on that floaty thing was saying if a lot of other people would say you're being an asshole for doing that. Now that's really interesting. But West wasn't even willing to directly say, I think you're an asshole for doing that. But now West wants to look out for Amanda. And there is this element now of, I do think Amanda has been verbally and emotionally abused by Kyle. I'm not denying that, but I am now seeing that she really leans into the victim role, and she really, in terms of getting attention off of West, and that kind of does gross me out. Like the damsel in distress, I need to be saved. It's like, ew, you weak. Ugh, just that's so gross. Just again, because of how that affects CIARA. And for who? For a fuckboy, a guy who cannot commit, who's made that very clear. If he couldn't commit to CIARA, then how the hell do you think he's going to commit to you? Why do you think you are above her? Because that's literally what she is implying by taking this chance with someone like West. So gross. What was so interesting for the preview next week is how Ben brings the woman that told him she loves him and he didn't say anything, and now they've had some space and he misses her, as Sabrina. So he wants to bring her up to the house. And we see that Ben kind of confronts Amanda because apparently Amanda said to Sabrina that Ben is in love with her, as in Amanda. So now I see, Amanda, the comments that Jesse would leave and how much she leaned into that. Now I kind of see, Amanda, you are one of those women. Yes, it comes from insecurity. And so that's the area that I can have compassion for. It does not come from a place of confidence, but Amanda is one of those women, at least at this point in her life, that clearly needs so much male attention to try to fill a hole inside of herself. It's understandable if it doesn't affect people so negatively as it does with, again, CIARA. Going back to West, he's telling Kyle, you need to go apologize to Amanda. That was totally unprovoked. It's great what he's saying, but it's again, why are you choosing to stick up for Amanda? Well, Kyle does apologize, and Amanda rightly says, for saying F you, screaming that in front of everybody a couple nights before or a week before. And Amanda rightly says, yeah, why did you not say that to me earlier? Why did you wait so long to apologize to me? And Kyle was saying, I needed to figure out why I said that. They're admitting clearly their relationship is very, very fractured, and there's a lot of problems. And also there was a discussion where CIARA talks about how she bought her grandparents' home in North Carolina and she's redoing it, and people talked about who has a home, who doesn't. Kyle said he put his home down payment into Loverboy. Amanda says something in response to that and says, I'm just making a silly. I don't know how Amanda can be so ignorant as to just say, Kyle's the one that knows about business. I don't know anything about that. Are we living in the 1950s, Amanda? What are you talking about? Learn or do it, or create some business agreement so that you could never be held responsible. I think Kyle does have enough integrity. I don't think he would ever put that on Amanda. But that is just so unattractive. Knowing this information about her today, of course, it just makes me want to hate her, because it's just mind blowing when you don't see that in someone, that they were capable of that. That's what's shocking. I just never saw her as doing something like this. It's the same as watching Sandoval, watching that season 10 back where Raquel was effing Sandoval. You watch it and you see where, for example, where Raquel has that conversation with Ariana asking about their sex life, knowing that she's actually effing the person you're asking about Ariana's sex life with, and how sick that is on a lot of levels. So there is that gratification, as this is a form of entertainment as a viewer, knowing what we know now and knowing that this was only 9 months ago that this was filmed, and seeing as it's building up to what were the clues, what were the signs. I don't think Amanda and West had any idea at that point that they were ever going to be hooking up, but it's kind of that forbidden fruit thing. It's just the very fact that they're not supposed to. It builds a stronger attraction, unless I'm wrong, and unless they're soulmates and they're going to be together forever. So also, it was really interesting at the end when we see it's Lindsay's housewarming party. And that's when Dara goes up to Bailey to say, hey, did you say I was in Ben's room for an hour? And, what was up there? And then Bailey said, so you didn't go in Ben's room? And then Dara lies, because they have it on camera, that they were in the room together. She said no, because earlier on an earlier episode, she said you just got changed. That is going to suck for KJ. And I don't know why Dara would, unless she was wasted, which she did not seem to be. Does she truly not remember that? Or is she just someone who consistently lies? This is going to come up at the reunion because you did this. But Bailey was really good in terms of that conflict of, she just said, oh, well, I'm sorry, I guess I was wrong then, and just moved it along. This is going to come out later. Dara, I was liking her, but then it makes me question her character that she lied about that, because that just makes her look terrible. Can't wait to watch the rest of the season. I'm sure Bravo is so happy because it's going to throw their ratings through the roof. I hope that Amanda doesn't come back next season. I don't want her on the show. I don't want West on the show. I want it to be CIARA, maybe Kyle. I want KJ, and we'll have to see who else can really do it. But I don't imagine Amanda, CIARA, and West are going to end up in the house next summer. Amanda, before I got direct confirmation today, I was looking for the info and I saw Amanda's weed promos where she's looking all sexy, all that. Well, she got dropped by that company as soon as this information came out. So she's going to have zero fans. And there is a huge female fan base with Bravo. I just think women like to be fans of people that we want to be friends with. And clearly Amanda is not someone that any of us would want to be friends with. Episode 9, not the craziest episode, but watching it on the day this information came out, pretty crazy. Thanks for listening. I will be back next week and we will see what develops in the meantime. Have a great night.